I had my bulimia for years. This is my journal entry 21 days into recovery. Entry 1. It's crazy to think this is the first time I've ever dared to put words on paper about this. My eating disorder that lived inside of me for years. Just shut away from the rest of my life. Ignored by the me that others saw and thought they knew. Even now, the word bulimia is unsettling. How is it possible that I actually lived with this monster that consumed every inch of my thoughts, practically every single day of my life? How did I live a life for years where it was normal to wake up with my first thought being what and when will I throw up today? When should I go to the gym so I can eat and throw up after? 4 meetings on the calendar today. Cool. Maybe I'll get a quick BP in between the 3rd and 4th. There was a second of every day where I wondered if maybe today was this day that I'll finally stop, only to end the night with my head over the toilet, doors locked tight and music blasting, and a meticulous clean-up session to make sure no one noticed any food left in the toilet, or the tears and snot dripping down my face that came with repeatedly forcing my fingers down my throat. Yet, every day, I got away with it. Looking back, it doesn't even seem real. Outwardly, I was always a shining symbol of fitness. Inwardly, I clung onto it like it was the only thing I had, because part of me felt like it wasn't real. Like a classic bulimic, I tended to fast during the day. We usually weren't hungry in the morning as our bodies were still processing the 6,000 plus calories we ingested last night in one sitting. But the hours I put into training were real, and I had the body to show for it. I even boasted a pride for my fitness. Yet there was always some part of me that was shameful and guilty for what happened behind closed doors at night that made me feel like a fraud. Every day I wanted to stop, and yet something more powerful overcame me every day. Perhaps it was the dopamine rush of eating everything in sight. Everything I normally wouldn't eat, unless I was able to purge it later. Most of the time, however, I couldn't even remember how I started. It was mindless, like I'd forgotten the rest of the world. My hands were on autopilot, just reaching for more. Over and over again, I couldn't stop. Not until I'd run out of food, or the sharp pain in my bulging stomach screams in desperation, do I snap out of the tunnel vision. At first it was, oh no, I need to get this out of me right now. As time went on, it became more like clockwork. At the last bite of Sour Patch Kids or my inability to breathe from the pressure on my stomach, it was just a routine feeling. Cool. On to the next step. Entry 2. What seems even less real is how I'm now 21 days into my recovery, the longest I've gone in for years without binging or purging. I catch myself thinking, is this what a normal person feels like? To walk into the house without anything pressing to do, without a thought of going into the kitchen to see what I could binge on. When was a good time, or if I should make a quick DoorDash order for junk food to save for later. To be on a long drive and not be consumed by thoughts of food. To actually wind down before bed, instead of using the extra hour to swallow chocolate bars and bags of chips just to bring it back up. I'm suddenly able to think about more, and do so much more. It was like I had lost a percentage of my brain to a mindless Blake. In which hemisphere is America located? I don't understand why GF did what she said she did, and I'm so lost and confused. I can't move on, and I don't know what to do. Edit. Thank you everyone for your replies from the bottom of my heart, and no matter what you wrote, it doesn't matter if you think I'm a stalker, or if you think I'm justified. Just thank you for taking the time to read and reply to me with your various thoughts. It's been 5 hours since I post this, and I've been non-stop replying to every comment I got, but I have to sleep now as it's 7:30 in the morning, and I'm about to pass out. I will try to reply to everybody else when I wake up. I really appreciate all of you guys. Have a good night. We've been together for 8 years, since 18 years old, and we've been truly happy for those 8 years. I know that for a fact. She always left me little notes telling me how happy I make her, and she made me incredibly happy too. We were going to get married by the end of this year or early next year at the latest. We've always talked about getting married when we were 27 to 28, and the time had come. Since we were both 26, about to turn 27 this year, we were each other's first everything apart from some not so serious, childish and short high school teen with other people before we met, and she was my everything. We were planning on having kids a couple of years after getting married, but a trip to the doctor and that whole plan changed. She had a long and painful period, took 10 to 14 days to pass, so by day 10 I convinced her to go to a doctor to find out what was wrong. We basically found out that she's nearly infertile, because she has early menopause, and her AMH levels were seriously low. AMH is the hormone that basically shows how much eggs you have left. Healthy levels around our age should be between 1.5 to 5, and hers were at 0.19, so yeah, this broke her. No matter what I did or said, I couldn't console her, and she spent the next month, before we broke up, crying daily about this for hours, constantly telling me that she knew how much I wanted to be a father, that she knew how good a father I make, and that I deserve to have kids but she can't give them to me now, and asking what good is she to me now, as if I only was with her for that. It's true that for the past 8 years, yes, I knew I wanted to have a family with her pretty early on in our relationship. I've been dreaming about having kids with her, but the only reason I had those dreams in the first place was because of her. I tried to explain to her tens of times that just because her hormone levels are low doesn't mean we can't have kids. And even if we couldn't in the end, all I wanted was to be with her anyways, so I'd be okay with it. She didn't believe me, constantly accused me of not thinking this, to not being serious about what this would mean for me, and told me even if I believed this, now I'd resent her later on in life, and she didn't want to do this to me. That's not like me at all. But she convinced herself of it. We went to another doctor we went to before for another unrelated issue we had early on in our relationship, who's well known for a second opinion. He basically confirmed that if we wanted kids, we should start trying ASAP. Problem is, our country is basically economically broke, so even with both of our incomes combined, getting a house would be difficult, which is why we were planning on getting married at the end of the year, after saving up a bit in the first place. I was also freshly out of a job too, so there was that too. After we got out of the doctor's office, she told me she wanted to break up with me. She had a little argument with my mom just before this second appointment. They're super close, but that leads to her trying to meddle in our affairs sometimes. This time it was about a vacation we were going to have. She insisted on paying for us, which annoyed my GF, because we had the means to pay for ourselves. My mom also didn't know about what she's going through, so she pressed about paying, which made her extra mad that she had to deal with her while going through this, so that piled on top of what was already going on with the whole early menopause situation. She said she was setting me free, so to speak, because she won't be able to give me the children I deserve, and didn't want to talk to my mom, and asked me not to tell her the reason of our breakup. We cried a bit. I tried to convince her that we could get through this, that I didn't want to be set free, that playing the hero and making a self-sacrifice play like this was stupid, but I couldn't convince her. Just before we went our separate ways, she hugged me and said she was sorry and this was a mistake, and asked me if we could just take a break for a week, instead of breaking up, so we could clear our heads. I said okay. That was the first breakup. A week passed. We met again. Same conversation happens. She cries about the same things about kids, and breaks up with me again. I drop her off at her home and go get drunk with my dad. Next day she calls me, tells me she couldn't sleep, and she cried all night, and asked me to meet with her to talk. I go over. She basically says again that this was a mistake and she's sorry about the breakup, and asks us to go to couples therapy to try to fix this, and that she also started going to a psychologist to deal with having early menopause. I'm happy to do this. I suggested this before as well when we had some other problems, so I'm all for it. She goes to visit her grandma for a couple of days, because she had a cerebral hemorrhage last year, and she didn't have chance to visit her since then, so she wants to go see her just in case. We have a national holiday at this time, so now's the perfect time to go visit. So she goes. I look for therapists while she's gone, and we plan to start sessions when she's back. She gets sick there. Apparently her aunt was there as well and made everybody sick. She comes back, but is too sick to get out of home, so between her getting back and being sick, a week passes since we talked about starting therapy. Monday comes. She's going to go back to work, but she also has an appointment with our doctor. Before that he told her to come the next time she has her period. I can't make it there because it's too early and I'm starting my training period for a company, so she says she'll update me as soon as she leaves his office. She doesn't do that though. Doesn't talk to me at all for the whole day until she gets off work. Calls me and straight up just says she wants to break up again. I'm like, WTF, this isn't a game enough already? We said we'd go to couples therapy. Why are you doing this again? She doesn't really answer, just says that's what she wants and is adamant about it, so we break up on the phone, because apparently she's not strong enough to do it face to face. Her words, not mine. I give it a couple of weeks for us both to settle down, and this time I'm the one who reached out. I text her that I happen to be close by to where she works and ask her to meet up after work. She reads and doesn't reply for 15 minutes, and then texts me, "I'm with someone else now, fuck off and leave me alone already." As if it wasn't her who constantly reached out to me to beg to not break up, and as if I was stalking her or something. I of course don't believe this and tell her that she didn't need to say something so fucked up, and if she told me she didn't want to talk to me like an adult, I'd have left her alone and never reach out to her again. She then sends me a picture of a guy kissing her on the cheek with her smiling an hour later. Tells me to accept it's over and blocks me on everywhere. I call her from a different phone an hour or two later. She picks up not realizing it's me, and it sounds like she's crying. As soon as she hears it's me, though, her tone changes completely. I just ask her for how long, and she says they started dating a week after we broke up. So what's it to me? Then hands the phone to a guy, and the dude tells me not to call again. Cue me swearing at the dude for the next couple of minutes, telling him to tell me his name if he's ballsy enough to tell me not to call my GF of 8 years, but of course the coward doesn't. I tell him to enjoy my scraps and hang up. I don't know what the fuck to do here. A small, idiotic, brain-dead part of me wants to believe that the whole other guy thing is a sham and she's doing it to push me away and to set me free like she said before. I don't even know what the doctor said to her in their last session, so before she sent me the picture of her with the guy, I thought maybe she was told something even worse and decided to do this because of that. I don't even know when she'd even have time to find someone. Our country doesn't really have workers' laws, so she was always working crazy hours. She'd always let me know when she made it home and always went to sleep for a couple of hours because of how much she's working, asking me to wake her up and so on and so on. Hell, she lives with her parents, so it's not like someone could come over or she could go over to someone else's place because they'd start asking questions about where she's whenever she's not home. It also doesn't make sense that she'd cry for a month about the whole baby thing to me if she was with someone else. Look, I know how it sounds. I know I sound like I'm delusional, and I know that this is a tiny chance compared to what probably actually happened. That's why I want to talk to her one last time face to face. Ask my questions and be done with this whole fucking thing. After 8 years of giving everything to this girl, I feel like I deserve to have a final talk to get some answers and put my mind at ease, especially considering I'm not the one who did this shit. At this point, even if she told me that she was cheating on me for years, and I was too stupid to realize it or some shit, I'd be okay with it, because at least I know the truth, and would stop questioning our entire relationship constantly. Not knowing it's making me lose my mind, which is why I want to talk to her. I tried to tell her bring whoever she wants if that's what it takes, except for the guy of course, but nope, no answer. I've tried reaching out to her from different numbers, and she always blocks them. Messaged her, never got any replies. I called and texted her best friend one time, and even she blocked me without replying, as if I'm the one who cheated on her or something, and she's not really the type of girl to do that. We weren't best friends, but we were still friends, so that hurts too. I've still been trying to scrape up enough money together so that we could freeze some of her ex when we patched things up before she sent me that pic like the idiot I was. If this whole thing is real, I don't even know why she'd tell it to me like this. We don't live that close to each other, so it's not like I could have seen them or something. She could have just spared me the details, making me think it was just a normal amicable breakup instead of making me question everything and destroying my trust in people like this. I don't know why the fuck she suddenly hates me so much to do this. I couldn't ever imagine her doing something like this, especially when the breakup was due to circumstances around health instead of having a fight or something worse. I'm slowly losing my mind here. I don't even know if she cheated on me or not, and for how long if she did, or if she really fucking found someone in a week after 8 years, as if it's not a big deal that a relationship that long is over. I'm even starting to question if the early menopause test results were real or not, or if she actually went to her grandma or not. I'm questioning why she did the whole breakup not breakup routine for a month, if she had another guy lined up, and if she was just fucking with me when doing it. That's how much this whole thing is fucking with my head. It's been 2.5 weeks now since she sent the picture. I tried to catch her after work twice in the time. A bit creepy, I know, but what else can I do when she has everybody block me as if I'm the one who did something like this but couldn't see her? The only other things I can think of to do is reach out to her older sister or her mom. Her parents love me. Not super close with her sister. From what I know of them, they wouldn't be okay with her doing something this whole-ish, so they may not even know, or maybe she fed some BS to them. Maybe the same type of BS that made her best friend block me without replying to me. I'm just barely existing right now, not doing shit the whole day every day, and suddenly realizing it's night now. Like the whole day passes by in a blur, with me just sitting in my room like a moron, but at the same time, it feels like it's been 2 years instead of 2 weeks. I don't know what I'm doing or what to do. I don't even know what to do with my life now. Everything I did, everything I worked for, and everything I dreamed of was for us both. Nobody except for a single friend even knows why we broke up, and I'm so tired of acting like I'm fine to everybody else. I think I might reach out to her sister tomorrow. I don't know.